Hi there, how are you? This is Loise. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have good news. I want to talk about a new immigration pilot that is starting anytime soon, and that is the Agri-food immigration pilot. First and foremost, I want to thank you to my channel. If this is your first time, thank you and welcome. Please subscribe and turn on the notifications because we do upload a lot of videos and you do not want to be missing out a lot of things. I know a lot of questions that you have, I may have addressed them, so please go through my channel and see the various videos that are there. And for my followers, thank you so much for your support. Okay, I must also do a disclaimer that the information that I'm giving you today is for your information purposes only. It's not to be taken as legal advice. If you need any professional advice, if you have any question, please compile your questions and send me an email and we shall address them in a consultation session. Okay, all right. So the agri-food immigration pilot. You know that from time to time the Canadian government does introduce pilot programs to meet specific needs in the industries, in various industries, in communities, or whatever, any need that they may have with labor shortage. They do create pilot programs to address that. Some of them are the Atlantic pilot. We also have the rural northern pilot that is going on right now, and now they are introducing the agri-food pilot in the agriculture industry. And I'm just going to read from the government website, because all the information that I give you, you can always find it in the government website. I know finding it and understanding it at times can be a lot of work. It takes a lot of time, so that's why I do the research for you. I compile these things for you just so that they are easy to understand. But I'm going to read this from the government website. It says the agri-food immigration pilot helps address the labor needs in the Canadian agri-food sector by testing a new industry-specific approach. So this is something that they are testing. And this pilot is designed to help address the labor needs in the Canadian agri-food sector, particularly in the year-round mushroom and greenhouse crop production, meat processing, and livestock raising industries, and to attract experienced non-seasonal workers who can settle in Canada as permanent residents. So this is a permanent residence application, and that's why I wanted to read that, just so that it's clear. This is not a temporary foreign worker program. This is a permanent resident application. For you to be able to apply for this PR, you will have required, and I'm going to go through that, you'll have required to come here through a temporary foreign worker program. Okay, so let's proceed about this pilot. I said it's starting in March of this year, so it's going to start anytime soon. So please stay tuned. Check when it goes on, because that's the only time that they're going to start taking applications. So they're not taking applications yet. It's a 3-year pilot, like all the other pilot programs. And because it's starting in March, it'll end in March 2023. So to apply for PR through this pilot, you are going to need Canadian work experience. Please note that, because I say this is a permanent resident application program, so you will need to have gained Canadian work experience, and you will also need a job offer from a Canadian employer in an eligible industry, and on top of that, an eligible occupation. Okay, excuse me. So what that means is, if you don't have Canadian work experience, which is needed to apply for this pilot, this is the time you need to be getting yourself a job in this industry. And I tell you about planning. Make sure you're getting the right jobs in the right industries, because it's very specific. It's not for everything in agriculture. It's in specific industries and specific occupations. So if you're looking for a job, then make sure that the job you're going to look for right now fits that particular industry which we're going to be looking at, and also fits that particular occupation. So what we shall be seeing today in this video is the industries, is the occupations, the eligibility, and the limits, because it does have limits. Okay, so those are the things that I'll be talking about in this video shortly. Right. Okay, so which are these eligible industries that they are considering? They are considering 3 industries, and the first industry is the meat product manufacturing industry. The other industry is the greenhouse, nursery, and floriculture production, including mushroom production. And the third is the animal production, excluding aquaculture. So it's those 3 main industries that they're going to be considering for this pilot. Now, under those industries, make sure you understand that these industries, they have a classification. So make sure that you are dealing with the right classification. And the classifications for industries is done by NAICS, that is the North American Industry System. So make sure that you get the right NAICS code for the industry, okay? When an employer is giving you a job, for those people who will be looking for jobs in this industry, make sure that the employer includes the industry code in the job offer, because without that industry code, then this thing is not going to be eligible. So make sure you understand the industry code, have your employer include that industry code in your job offer. Okay? All right, so now we already have the 3 industries that are qualifying. Then which are the occupations that are eligible under this industry? So we're gonna go through them. Under the meat product manufacturing industry, we have careers that are eligible, and the first one is retail butchers. The second one is industrial butchers. The other one is farm supervisors and specialized livestock workers. The last one is food processing laborers. So under meat product manufacturing, you only have 4 occupations that are eligible. Make sure you understand them and you understand the NOC. Now, for occupations, we deal with the NOC. Make sure you understand the NOC for these occupations. Okay? All right, for the other industry, the second industry that was eligible, that is the greenhouse, nursery, and floriculture production. We have 3 occupations, 3 major, these are like major groups. So there are so many titles that can fall into this. So we have farm supervisors and specialized livestock workers. Okay, and you're going to find that they kind of repeat in the other industry. And then we have general farm workers also qualify for that. And the last one, the last occupation there is harvesting laborers. So those 3 occupations, and those are like major groups of occupations, they are the ones that qualify under the greenhouse, nursery, and floriculture production, including mushroom and including mushroom production. Okay, all right. The last category, that is the last industry that we talked about up there, that is the animal production, excluding aquaculture. We have two major occupations that are going to qualify, and these are farm supervisors and specialized livestock workers. And the second one is the general farm workers. So go through these kind of occupations, see what job titles fall under that, make sure you get the right NOCs, and then after that, make sure they align with the right industry code. And when you're looking for a job, make sure that your employer is including the industry code in that job offer. I hope that is clear so far. So yeah, so I was just saying, make sure you confirm the NOC codes to confirm that the duties that are listed there, they align with your work experience. Okay, the NOR code, they align with your work experience. So when you're making your resume, make sure that your resume is speaking for the right NOR code of your occupation. There are, one thing that I want you to note is that there are limits by occupation. So it's not a free for all. So there's going to be limits, annual limits every year. There's going to be limits, and applications will be on first come first served basis, and they'll be beginning on January every year. I think that is kind of contradicting on itself, because when they say it's going to begin every January every year, this is already March, as you can see. So I bet for this year it's going to begin now, but for the subsequent years it will be beginning every January 1st. So that's when they'll be taking, if they capped. So if they cap this year at some point, then they will start taking applications again on January 1st. So make sure that on January 1st, if you faced the cap, if you're cut out by the cap, make sure then your application is ready on January 1st next year. Okay, so this is the time to get going. As I said, get going, get that job, make sure everything is working out, so that in a year's time, you're going to be able to apply for this pilot. And I'll tell you why I've said in a year's time, because then there's eligibility. For the job limit, I just want to give you like a highlight of how many jobs they have under these categories. So for farm supervisors and specialized livestock workers, they have only 50 spots. Okay, for industrial butchers and retail butchers, they have 1,470 jobs. For food processing laborers, they have 730 jobs. And for the general farmer workers, they have 200 jobs. And the last one, which is the harvesting laborers, they have 300 jobs. So you're going to see that this is about, there are about 3,000 jobs. So make sure that you're putting your application as soon as possible if you're already in Canada. Anyway, so how do you become eligible for this program? Of course, there are things that you must meet. I tell you every time, every program in this country is merit-based. So you must meet a certain criteria for you to qualify for this. And that is what we are talking about now. So the first qualifying thing, or the first part of eligibility, is that you must have qualifying work experience for 1 year full-time, okay, in Canada. Remember, this work experience must be in Canada for 1 year, and this work experience must be in the eligible industry, remember, and also in an eligible occupation. So please refer to what we just talked up there: eligible industry and eligible occupation. And the job you must have received after your employer received a positive LMIA. So you must have received this job through a temporary foreign worker program. Okay, so when you're looking for your job, make sure it's through the temporary foreign worker program, and make sure your employer is getting a positive LMIA to fill that position before they give you the job offer. So this job offer, the next one, the number 2, is that the job offer must be genuine. So it must be genuine, and it must not be for seasonal work. Remember, I know we have various classes, and I'll be talking about the agriculture sector and the immigration programs in there. We do have seasonal workers who come here for 8 months, so those ones don't qualify, and that is usually for seasonal workers from the Caribbean. Okay, those ones don't qualify because they are seasonal. So this one must be full-time and non-seasonal. Okay, and also the job must be outside Quebec. Always make sure you're not going to work in Quebec, because Quebec does have their own immigration system. Number 3, I tell you all the time, make sure you've done your language assessment, because you're going to need a minimum of a CLB4 in all classes. Okay, and that is like really, really, really low. So I don't see why you should be having a problem getting a CLB4. The other one is education. Make sure you have your ECAs If you don't have them, please get them going. Get your education credential assessment, and the minimum for this is a high school graduation. So that is what they want, as long as it's valid. The last one, number 5, is that you're going to need settlement funds. So if you're working, you're not going to need settlement funds. But if you're not working, you are going to need settlement funds. And as I've said in other videos, the settlement funds depend on your family size. So I'm not gonna go through today the funds today, because I've done that in so many other videos. So for the funds, I'm just gonna give, like, for one person, you must show that you have 12,960,000. Did I say 60,000? So sorry. For one person, you're going to need 12,960 Canadian dollars. That is for one person. Okay. All right. So as I said, that is all you need. In terms of eligibility, they don't need a lot of stuff in eligibility. But please, this is a time, if you don't have a job in Canada, and you're interested in this kind of work, this is a time now for you to start looking for work, have everything ready, and then hopefully after you work here for a year, then you can apply for this. You can apply for this pilot, because you're going to need 1 year work experience, Canadian work experience in the eligible industry, in the eligible occupation. Okay. All right, thank you so much. That's all I have for today. I'll be making a video, I don't know when, because I know I have a busy week coming up, but I'll make a video about getting the agriculture jobs through the temporary foreign worker programs. Okay, just so that you know where to start. But this one is for people who are already, either they've qualified or they are planning on using this pilot. The good thing with pilot, you have 3 years, so you still have a lot of time to look for work and for you to qualify for this pilot. All right, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Stay tuned, stay here, be good, have a good day. Bye now.